We are G Cubed, and like many other consumers, we would like our reveal trailers to be indicative of the final product. Maybe except for Neil.
Lies.
I don't know what he was looking at right before we went on for the video.
This is something different,
but I know what Joe and I and other people in the room were looking at. So today we're going to kind of talk about the vertical slice, and that's the reveal trailer versus the final product. In particular with Horizon, with Ghost Recon, with Mass Effect. And I saw it more with Mass Effect than I did the others, but right behind us right now, we have a little shot of our girl Aloy and Horizon.
Aloy.
And
Aloy Vera.
Little Aloy Vera.
Aloe Vera?
So what's on the screen behind us is a PS4 to PS4 Pro comparison, right?
But the big controversy is like the reveal trailer to the game, which I guess should be said more of like the reveal, because it's not just the trailer. There's stuff from the gameplay that actually happens in the game that doesn't look anything like what it did in the trailer.
Yeah, but it could just be a cinematic mock-up.
Well, I mean, mostly they are. These games are built on PCs with the close proximity of like the specs of the console. In some cases, like maybe before they have the.
You never know when they're just going to do a cinematic trailer to give you something to get excited about.
But these are talking about like gameplay comparisons.
Yeah,
is what we're well.
But you don't know that.
We were led to believe.
Assuming it's.
We were led to believe that Horizon's debut was gameplay.
Right.
And it might have been at that time before they factored in everything else, and then they fine-tuned it for performance.
But I mean, so this reminds me of back in the day with fucking Watch Dogs.
Yeah.
Because when Watch Dogs came out, it had the same problem. Like it was this, like they showed off this trailer where Aiden's fucking trench coat was flapping in the wind.
And the lighting is dynamic.
Like you see the little the newspaper wrappings and shit just coming around the fucking car.
Hey, and on the PC, the hackers went in there and they made that a thing.
The hackers? Are you shitting me? Are you really going to use that term right now?
They hacked the game.
The hackers.
Them Watch Dogs.
The hackers. Hacked into the game.
But like
got Trump's tax returns.
The way I see it is, yeah, great. We want to see what we're going to buy, but at the same time, it's like, as a consumer, you gotta know at this point. This has happened so many times.
These devs want to put their best foot forward, and they really want to have an impact with these games. You look at a game, and I will admit that most of the time I don't go, holy shit, that game looks gorgeous. But I know that there is a very large subset of gamers that do. And like this guy,
that's me.
Oh Absolutely. Shit, that game looks gorgeous. So this harkens back to Killzone 2 on the PS3, where the entire trailer was from the first person perspective to look like gameplay. And then we found out that the entire thing was like an artistic mock-up of what they thought the game might look like.
I love that sentence.
It's like full of like informalities. Like it's ridiculous. And people were like, oh, well, the final game doesn't look anything like this. But at that point, we began to accept that, okay, well, these games, when we get the earlier looks at them, they haven't factored in like all the nuances of what makes up these worlds yet. So we're getting a vertical slice of one part of the gameplay that they've bullshotted, so to speak, to make it look as good as possible. Now, there have been games in the past like Halo 2, where our first look at the gameplay of that game was vastly inferior to the final game.
Yeah.
Halo 1 with a Halo 2 skin on it.
Right. And like if you watch the Halo 2 documentary that came with Halo 2, they threw that thing together in a couple of weeks. They're like, we need to bring something to E3. We threw this demo together in a couple of weeks, and we're going to play it because if you go off track, like the fucking thing falls apart.
Yeah, didn't they like put Microsoft under a fleet of buses and just run them over back and forth?
I don't know what you're talking about, man.
I thought they were talking about Microsoft was the one that gave them the deadline.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure. Microsoft said, yeah. I was like, well.
And they're like, yeah, it's not ready yet. They're like, too bad, be there.
Yeah, and that was sort of back before like these devs and publishers had the leeway to say no to E3 because E3 was the event.
Yeah.
There were no other events that they could showcase. Like that was it. That was your holiday showcase was E3. So we got our first look at Horizon a couple of years ago at E3, and it was beautiful.
Yeah.
Now I am not saying that the final game is not beautiful.
Definitely looks really good. It
is incredible. When we compared the two together, you do see a very stark difference.
And when you were talking before where you're saying like what the systems are that they build these games on,
sure,
that this kind of stuff leads me to think that those systems are powerhouses.
Yeah.
Whatever they're using to render those things out, because I mean, you got to think these are also the same systems that they're rendering like assets for the game on, and they're rendering textures and all that fun stuff for. So like they've got to have some juice.
I remember the 360 dev kits. And correct me if I'm wrong, were built on PowerPC,
right?
And they were built there, and they were brought over to the hardware, and then you kind of had to work within the limitations of the hardware. So they would build it to what they think it would be like a as close as possible to system specs.
Yeah.
And they bring it over to the hardware, and they'd realize that they'd have to make some other concessions just because of the environment.
Right. But when they're creating a trailer and they're wanting you to look at like the biggest thing I know for one thing is like I forget what it's called, the refraction of light off of skin. That's like an insanely like really hard thing to mimic.
Yeah.
But like if you look at like Mass Effect or like, well, I guess Andromeda really, like if you look at Mass Effect Andromeda and you see like the face of one of the characters from the trailer and you look at the lighting from that and compare it to the other, it's just like their ultimate goal is to show you the best looking thing they possibly can so that you go, oh my God, I need to spend $60. That's it. That's all I need to give you for this. Like that's what they want. And they achieve that. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Cosby over there.
It's just as a consumer, either one of two things either needs to happen. Either A, maybe there should be a push to say, hey, we want our games to look exactly the same way that you show them.
Sure.
And then we get more Halo 2 experiences. Or B, as a consumer, you just go, okay, that's what they're trying to do.
Right.
That does look great. But like, I know that my game is not going to look like
so
that.
This is somewhat off topic. Star Wars Rebels.
Okay.
There are a couple of episodes with Darth Vader in them.
Okay.
And the reason why he doesn't feature as much in that show is not because they don't want to water down Darth Vader. It's because it eats up a significant, and I'm talking a huge majority of the budget to render his cape on those shows. So they talked about a couple of the episodes that he was in, almost like over 80% of the budget went to rendering the fabric of his cape. Now they could have taken the cheap way out and had it cut off or something like that and just moved forward with it, but they wanted it to be an authentic experience. So that is why you don't see, like in Clone Wars, Star Wars Clone Wars, you didn't see the Jedi wearing their robes very often, even though in the movies they're fucking wearing their robes while they're swimming. And because it cost them so much money to render that fabric against like environmental like externalities. So we're talking about their skin always refracting like lighting effects.
Yeah,
that's not a realistic expectation.
It is and isn't, because they showed off a demo it was like built on a Final Fantasy, I think the same engine, Final Fantasy 15.
Engine, or?
Yeah, where the big, it was like a huge breakthrough in like game development, because they had finally realistically been able to show skin refraction.
They being Square.
Yeah. And when I saw it, I was like, that looks awesome. It was I don't know if you guys remember the Final Fantasy, I don't know if it's supposed to be 16 or whatever the fuck it is now, but it was a chick with like the beast that she was running up beside the building.
It was the tech demo and the valley.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was her, and they showed her like going through different like human emotions.
Yeah.
One of which was she was crying, and they showed the refraction of the light off of her skin and like the tear. It was pretty fucking spot on. Like it was really good. So the technology is there. The problem is that was one demo of actual real-time rendering, which it wasn't a pre-render thing, which that was the big thing. Right. It was a real-time rendering of like that. So the tech is there. I imagine that tech is extremely expensive and time-consuming. Exactly. And that's the reason why we don't get that.
And do you want a big open world, or do you want fucking light refracting off your tears?
Look, it depends on the type of game.
Maybe that was like that was both ends of the spectrum there. Yeah. Maybe it's not like you can't have one without the other. But I
mean, you got games like Until Dawn where that's a big deal. That would be important.
Sure.
But then you have games like Mass Effect where
very heavily narrative based games and where you're going to be seeing their face a lot. Oh, it's kind of like Mass Effect. You do see their face a lot.
I got to talk about this face. I'm sorry.
It's just I can't say what I said off video.
But I mean, I'll say it. No.
She looks a little dazed and confused.
Fuck it, we'll go live.
It's like, so there was an article that was written about this whole comparison. So
two different people. Two different
complete people. Like where this was the one that was in the reveal, which granted they got a lot of flack from that reveal trailer. It was like, what the fuck's going on with her face rendering? Because like when she smiled, it like fucking parted her face.
Yeah.
But it just stretched her face in part. But with the one that they showed off from the gameplay, that's the most uncanny valley looking character I've seen. And we're talking about going from like Dragon Age, where it still didn't look right, but like it was a game and you could tell it was a game. This is like, it's so close to being perfect that it's just not.
It's like, at the same time, how many humans are so close to being perfect, but
that's the weird thing. So even if you like, that's the weird thing about the uncanny valley. It's like, even with somebody that has like a physical, like, I don't know, handicap or whatever, like you can see, you can tell like, what the fuck? Everybody just died. Okay, all right, fuck it.
We were trying to like not go there.
Look, all right, I don't give a shit.
So hard to skip around.
I don't give a shit. I really don't, because we're talking about facts here, and if you get offended by that, I'm fucking sorry. But the thing is, it's like even with somebody like that, when you see them, your brain still goes, they have all the boxes checked for being human, and you go, okay, well that makes sense. But when you see something like this, your brain goes and it's like something's missing. It's wrong. That's the whole uncanny valley. I didn't say that. You did. So. Oh my God.
Rip Mark.
You guys.
We were going in the right direction and then we just derailed.
Well, you guys derailed yourselves.
Oh shit.
The train fell off the tracks.
But that's like, okay. Like all joking aside, like that's what you're talking about. Like something is not normal. Something is not typical.
Your brain sees that and says, I think that's supposed to be like a human face. But
something is off.
Go ahead and it makes you feel uncomfortable. What's wrong with that face?
That's the problem. With the uncanny valley is you can't really put your finger on it.
Well, I can put my finger on it.
It's not like there are so many muscles in the face, and like
the
where
lips
certain
are too
features
large,
go.
The eyes are too close together. The
eyes are too far
close. No, but the actual like pupil and the colored section too close.
But now we're just like picking
the nose. The nose is a little too big. The ears aren't symmetrical. The nose is too big. Right? The ears are not symmetrical.
They definitely are not.
But I mean, like people are not perfect, but there's something about the way like. This photo doesn't do it justice, and it's not really what we're talking about. We're talking about like the animation of the face underneath that very real looking skin is not as natural as it could be.
She has a really large chin too. Sorry, once the train goes off the tracks, I had to keep it going until it runs the mountain.
I don't even know how to wrap this one up.
If you agree with me on my assertion of the problems.
We didn't even talk about Ghost Recon.
Nope.
Which is more environmental.
Yeah.
But to each his own. Let us know what you think in the comments about whether or not you are a proponent of the bull shot, which is the vertical slice, that beautiful looking game you saw at E3, and the downgrade. I mean, nobody's a proponent of the downgrade. Unless you prefer like a change in art style, like Borderlands even went through a change in art style where it was realistic and then it went to cel shaded.
Yeah, first trailer.
Listen, I'm saying, do you want to see the best foot forward in graphics if it means the stability of the game?
Do you want to see the best foot forward at E3, or do you want something that's more indicative of the final gameplay? You let us know in the comments. In the meantime, if we earned your like, pop that button, hit that subscribe, and we'll see you next time.